On today's episode of Wrong Side, we talk about the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, what in the world's been going on in the WNBA, a little recap and highlights from our vacation, and our world famous Outside the Line, along with our clutch moment of the week. Let's go.
Welcome back, guys. It is Wednesday, June 5th, and happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Great to be back in studio, back to our normal lives here after a great couple weeks of vacation for both of us. Some fun stories to wrap up our vacation lives after a long, detailed episode from it last week. Shout out Michael for last week. We had some grit. We had some grit on my family vacation as well as in Wrong Side. Our video editing continues to be kind of an issue, and I don't think it was me this time. So Michael, he had to pull together an iMovie kind of at the final hour. He edited both the audio and video last week, so wanted to shout him out and shout out us for still getting that episode out during vacation. But I can't tell you how good it feels to be back. We got sports coming up this next couple weeks, some good stories to end it off on, and I'm excited to be here. How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to get back to your own house. Long vacation week was great in Hawaii and then Minnesota for a wedding. Obviously, you were in Italy for a couple weeks, but definitely nice to get your own bed again, like get back into routine. It's been weird. It's currently Monday the 3rd. I know this is coming out on Wednesday, but there's no sports today and tomorrow, really. There's baseball on, maybe some college baseball, but nothing, no NHL yet, no NBA yet. So kind of nothing big, but the games will start up on Wednesday. But yeah, it's definitely been a long couple weeks. Joey and I talked a lot about how it was going to go. Should we take weeks off? But yeah, I will give Joey the credit that it was not him for the Sam Blum episode. I hope people go out and watch that one. It was a really good back and forth about the Angels
Oh
and kind
yeah.
of back and forth about life and journalism, stuff like that. But it was a different format because Clip Champ was fucked up for Joey and was fucked up for me. We had to put it together. Joey was in the air. He couldn't get anything going in Italy. I did it before I left for my trip, so got that out. And then last week's episode I thought was also great. If you guys haven't gotten a chance, Joey's background is a lot better than mine. I kind of did mine Monday night. It was a little windy, I felt like, when I was recording. But Joey had a gorgeous background in Italy, looked nice, some great moments with the fam. Recurring guests, Mama Z was on,
Oh yeah.
and Megan Hahn debut. So that was cool. I will say my favorite part from last week's interviews, though, was your dad saying if they need to test a luggage, the test market for rolling suitcases should be the cobblestone roads of Italy. Totally
It
agree.
was facts.
Definitely facts. I think that's a big comment because I think it's so true. But yeah, back now, get to relax at home, own bed, back to our regularly scheduled program, and it feels a lot feels nice. Feels nice to be here, I think.
Feels good, but the one wrong side, not just one, but the biggest wrong side to back to our regularly scheduled program is back to work after 2 weeks
Yeah.
really is just a kick straight in the balls. I thought about looking at work yesterday on Sunday, just to get ready for it. I did for about 5 whole seconds before I saw something that I didn't like and then proceeded to shut down my laptop. I opened my computer to 434 unread emails from the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Um, got bad news in the third one. It was 8:04 and I was already questioning my decision to return to work. But we survived Monday. I told my roommate this week's about survival. We're not making any moves. We are just trying to get back to normal, get in a routine. I did drag my ass to the gym today. Ended up throwing up.
Oh,
Had a great
fuck.
workout. So um, it's about survival, and I can't even say it's because I was grinding my ass off. Like, it was a very average workout. Um, but man, I just had to exercise some of the demons from the weekend back. I had a beer in my hand within probably 45 minutes of walking through my door when I got back to my apartment. Um, Gutted out going out on Saturday. Um, but yeah, I'm here running on
Yeah,
fumes, but I'm still happy to
the
be
Monday after is brutal. It was my like kind of how we talked about like first like kind of big vacation while you have like a full-time job like this, and like
yeah.
I was kind of good about like checking a little while I was on vacation, like just checking emails, just see like everybody knew I was out. My out of office was on, like check some Teams messages. I kind of got ahead of a lot of stuff, so I didn't have to see anything, but kind of got ahead on that kind of stuff. But today it was like, so happy you're back. Here's what you need to do. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, but it was right side, small right side that about a month and a half ago, we had to schedule a training anywhere between beginning of May and end of June. and one of the options was Tuesday through Friday this week. So I scheduled
Mhm.
mine for this week. So now I have training the next couple of days to really kind of like, yeah, training's not the best. You gotta sit through things, but like usually these training days, like around 3, your day's done. You have like the rest of the day to like finish the self learns.
Mhm.
The first 3 days are all together, and then Friday is all on your own. So like that's that. I have training to do. So kind of get one more week of like a softer week before I fully go into it. And then next week is the middle of June, going out of town again next weekend. And then after that, I think we only have like one more week before July 4th, and PwC gives us the whole week off. So
Oh, that's
I'm
huge.
kind of ready.
We get like no time off. I'll have the 4th off, but I don't get
You
any
have a
extra days. I don't get Friday after. I don't get the
fifth?
5th. I don't get the Friday after Thanksgiving. We're always
Yeah, I
working.
mean, we got training this week. I have work next week, and then I go away for a couple of days on vacation. Not on vacation. I'm just going for the weekend, and then I get
Mhm.
like two more weeks of work, and then you get the whole week off for July 4th. They give you the whole week off for the firm. So yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's June, accounting world kind of slows down, but definitely good to be back. How is the rest of the trip? Obviously, we tuned in about the halfway point for you a couple days in Italy. How
Yeah.
was the rest of the trip?
I have to say it ended in a very wrong side way. It was a great trip. Naples, I think, was the best pizza I've ever had. Also, one of the best meatballs I've ever had. So Naples, more of a big bustling city, actually has some like skyscrapers there.
Okay.
Couple million people in the city, but at the end of a 2 week vacation, like you're kind of not trying to explore a new bustling city. So we were all kind of like taking it easy. We were going to be there Thursday. Got there like Thursday afternoon. Going to spend the night Thursday. Friday was my parents' anniversary, 25 years. So shout out them. So the original plan, we were going to be there Thursday, spend the night, Friday, fly out. But so we did still fly out of Naples on Friday. Naples did have the best pizza and possibly the best meatball I've ever had. So I will give them that from our short stint there. But I gotta say, fuck the Naples airport. We're big airport people on like airport etiquette and just airports in general. And Naples airport had one terminal. It was extremely crowded, very chaotic, nowhere to fucking sit. And like in a day where you're just trying to get home from an international trip, I was like, I just want to like sit there, read my book, or fucking listen to something, not talk to anybody, and just get in the air. Not only that, our flight got delayed. It seems like flights are getting delayed left and right these days, but
Unbelievable.
lack of communication as well. Usually you got the screen in front of the gate. It says where you're going, when you're boarding, like when you're going to take off. They told us it was going to be delayed, got delayed an hour. Then they proceeded to delay it by 20 minutes at a time. And it said we were boarding the whole time. So like we had no idea
Was
when
the
we were getting
plane there
out.
at least?
Not no. There was at one point it said we were boarding and we didn't even have a plane. So it was just like completely fucked the whole time. We had so the flight we were going to Frankfurt and then had about 2.5 hours originally scheduled of like a layover before our connecting flight from Frankfurt back to Chicago. So it gets delayed. We're like, damn, like we're like, okay, if it's just this 1 hour, like we should still be fine. Start talking to people around the gate and everything. Find out there's about 15 people connecting on the same flight back to Chicago. So um, eventually
Well,
we get on the plane. We're hoping maybe they'll hold it. Someone's talking to a travel agent, like, yeah, there's a big group, they'll probably hold it. We're like, okay, it's gonna be close. Maybe we'll get find some shortcuts up in the sky. We land, we look at the clock, it's like 20 minutes after our plane was supposed to depart. We're like, okay, like everyone's ready to get up and make the run for it. As soon as we land, they say, those of you scheduled to be on a connecting flight to Chicago, you're booked for the morning. So we were like, God damn it. Like the last thing you want on the way home after a long trip. Not that the trip wasn't great, but I was
let me
really,
ask you
really pissed
this.
off.
Would you have rather made the flight that moment, but your bags don't make it on, or take the night, they put you up in the hotel, it does suck, but you know the next morning you're going to have your bag, you're going to get it back. I mean, like, not like for sure 100%, but like better chance of having that bag, not missing it. Like, and you get home, you just have to grab your bag and go back.
The bag is a big
2 weeks
one.
in Italy, I would think that you're probably bringing like good clothes, like nice going out
Yeah.
clothes, like maybe things you'd
Mhm.
want to wear again. Like usually when people like go on vacations, you're bringing like your nicer stuff that like
Yeah.
so you don't what it's not like you're flying from like I've lost, not lost, but that bag has been delayed from Columbus to St. Louis, where it was just like, didn't get on the flight or
Mm.
something like that. And that happened, and I got the bag like the next day. It wasn't a big deal. But the bag
If it
didn't
was
stop
just one
for,
day,
like,
I would've if it was just a one-day delay on the bag, I would have taken getting on the plane because option C is what actually happened, which was tough.
okay,
Um, we land, we start, like, going to the service desk, getting our vouchers for the hotel and whatnot, and they say, "By the way, you're gonna have to wait another hour or hour and a half to get your bag out of the system. So if you don't have any medication, blah, 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 I would recommend not getting your bag." Or you have to show up 3 hours early tomorrow to get it properly scheduled on the next
yeah,
flight. So we're like, shit, like let's just leave the bag. So what ended up happening is they put us up in the hotel for one night, not a super nice hotel, and I didn't have any clothes. I didn't have a toothbrush, I didn't have
wow,
clothes. So king of the castle moment here. I we had three separate rooms. I had my own room, my sisters had their own room, my parents had their own room. Little TMI here for the listeners. We go up, we shower, like well, we have dinner, say goodnight, shower. Like everyone's just trying to go home. So everyone kind of goes to their separate corners. So I'm like, I dragged my suitcase through Naples already. Like I got a little sweaty on this trip in general, and I have nothing I can do about it. So I showered, I hang my clothes up in the bathroom, kind of to air them out, and I decide to just like sleep as God birthed me, sleep in the full nude, sit there for about 3.5 hours
wow, wow.
before going to bed. Finish the Dune book. It was a great book.
Oh,
Um,
Frank Herbert, shout out
in,
him.
in yeah, finished it in the way that I think Frank Herbert really intended me to finish it in Frankfurt, Germany, in
Nude,
my birthday
and
suit.
then
Um, so that was pretty wrong side. Just like all that, like not getting if I had the bag, if it was a nice hotel, I would have been like, that's whatever. But this kind of actually does segue me into another wrong side moment from Saturday when I got home.
okay,
Um, Saturday morning, like flight goes off fine. We got booked on like 11 a.m. flight out of Germany. I get home, it's like 4:30 by the time I like take the train back to my apartment. A couple of my friends are over drinking. I'm like, okay, I can't go to bed at 4. Like I want to stay up for a little bit. So I grab a coffee, start drinking with them, go out in Wrigleyville for a little bit. Like 10:30 rolls around, 11 o'clock rolls around, my vision's starting to get blurry. I'm like, okay, it's time for bed. They're all like, you know what? You put in work today. Good to
appreciate
see
you
you.
coming
Like, see you
out.
next
Yeah,
weekend. Yeah, pretty much. I go back. I'm in bed by like midnight. I hear everybody come back in around like 2 or 3 in the morning, which like I expected to like wake up a little bit, but just like glad to be in bed. Doors locked. Like I'm like I'm done. I'm relaxing. And then my friends are talking. They're like, guys, we should play the MLB The Show right now. I'm like, oh yeah, like let's do it. We had a little PGA and MLB The Show tourney before we went out. It was electric. Um, but then they're like, oh, we need the other controller. I had brought my controller back into my room to play 2K before bed. They're like real fucking loud, like, yo, do you guys have a paperclip? Like, I'm gonna pick Joey's lock. And I hear this and I'm like, I'm not getting up. They proceed to bang at my door for the next 20 minutes trying to unlock it. Like everyone's clearly sauced at this point. It's 2 in the morning. I open the door. Two guys look up at me. I'm like, what do you want? And they're like, can we have your controller to play the show? I go, fuck no. And slam the door back on their face. I'm like, I'm going to bed. And then one of our other friends, Anna, um, love her to death, but she goes, oh, let me talk to him. And I'm like, you're missing the point. Like everyone knew I needed to be in bed. That's the only thing I want to do. She's knocking on my door. Joey, they need the remote for outside. I'm like, no, fuck off. Literally all of you go die. And it was a very wrong side moment. I ended up like, cause in my mind, it was like 10 a.m. at that point. It's like 3 a.m.
right.
Like the time change. I'm like, it's kind of morning. So I feel myself start to wake up a little bit. I'm like pissed as fuck. So like I'm like all of you like I didn't come back out, but that was a little bit of wrong side of the weekend, starting off one of the laziest Sundays of my entire life. But the end of the trip was kind of wrong side, but we're back now trying to survive through the rest of this week. But yeah, we continue to show grit and take God's toughest battles,
Survive
I
in
guess.
advance.
Survive in advance.
What?
But yeah.
What a weekend back. What a weekend back. Yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't have that much bad travel. I will agree that flights have been getting delayed. I don't know what's the deal. I will say
Biden.
yeah, I know COVID. As Jersey Jerry says, COVID to anything. But
Hmm.
the thing is, like, they keep delaying it, but I always feel like they're making it up in time. Like, they always make the time up.
Somehow.
Southwest. I
Yeah.
understand they're, like, pumping it, but, like, on Saturday night when I was in Minnesota, I was leaving the wedding, like, got back to my room, relaxing, checked my flight, just wanted to make sure things were just, like, you wanna just I don't know, I just want the night before,
Oh, yeah.
make sure
Mhm.
everything's going the right way. And basically what happened was I saw my flight was supposed to be at, like, 12:30 originally. It was already delayed an hour at, like, midnight. And I was like, "How is it possible? There was no rain.
Yeah.
Is the crew already done?" Both flights were delayed an hour. And then I woke up in the morning like 7:45 to get ready to pack up, and both flights, the first one I gotten back to normal, but the Denver to Long Beach one stayed delayed. And I was like, "What is
I
happening?"
They pulled our flight back. They delayed our flight to Italy and then pulled it back in. I also don't get how they can do that. Like, I've only had that happen like twice in my life, but to delay it like an hour, like people are changing like when they're leaving for the airport at
Right.
that point, and then pull it back in is
No,
like I
I
understand
I
like you were able
I've
to wake
been
up and have
there.
enough time, but that's crazy.
I don't remember when it was, but I definitely had the experience where like, oh, they pushed your flight back so you don't leave, and then I've looked again and they pushed it back up, and I was like, "Oh, I think it was Columbus, so like it wasn't really a big deal
Yeah,
'cause
that
it's
happened to me too in
really
Columbus.
easy." But I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit, like I gotta get to the airport now," because I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was like not like the same. It wasn't like I just said where it was like midnight and the next morning. It was like 9 o'clock and 11:30 was when it happened. So it was like still in that morning. And I was like, "Oh shit, gotta go." So that was a mess, but Hawaii finished out great. Almost had my own wrong side moment when on our last night. We had booked a
mm,
sunset cruise. Super exciting. We're gonna go just go on a little boat cruise around Waikiki, like the island, beautiful views, Diamond Head, the whole nine. And
oh
I
yeah,
got there, booked everything had been accurate, dinners, reservations, events, everything. Last thing I had booked. I had dinner booked that night, but like that wasn't like a big one.
right.
Last thing to do. And I go up, my turn to check in. I was like, name under Michael. She was like, any other name? I said, Sharber. She's like, anything else? I was like, Megan, maybe. And they're like, we don't have that. Look down at my phone. Wrong day. It was for Thursday.
Fuck.
It was Wednesday. We were leaving the next morning. Luckily, we fixed it. She got us on, got to do that. Cruise was great. Amazing. Wrapped that up. Came home the next day, literally landed in Long Beach at 8 o'clock from our flight. Jake picked us up, took us home. We had dinner, went to repacked bags with like a suit, all that stuff for the wedding. Fell asleep, woke up again at 5:30, went back to Long Beach, flew
Wow.
out to Minnesota, and that was our weekend. But long week, happy to be home. Great
Yeah.
week with Meg, but long week. Shout out to the Deckers, the newly engaged couple or married couple, not engaged, newly married couple. And shout out Charlie for letting us babysit you and have a good time with you. But yeah, that was really the rest of the week. It was a great week off, much needed, but back in action now. Survive Advance Week, and
Yes, sir.
back into back into the way of things. So first real topic, I guess we can talk about now. After that would be NBA Finals. At the time and point when last episode came out, Joey's part was about before Game 6 and or
Yeah.
before Game 5, and mine was on Game 5 day. Series was a little different, but the Celtics already been in. We were waiting on the other series. Celtics Mavs starting Wednesday night. Gonna be a battle. Kyrie versus Boston, Porzingis versus Dallas. Some like pretty decent storylines for I would think that like for two teams that maybe younger teams, not really like talked about all year. I mean,
A
Boston,
weird finals matchup
Boston
for
for
sure.
sure, but Dallas definitely as the 5 seed. Second straight year, a 5 seed though has made it to 5 seed or lower has made it to the finals.
Okay.
So fun fact.
Valid.
And then we'll see now. I think we're gonna get some good ball. Kind of talked about it a few weeks ago how Minnesota was struggling. They were designed to beat Denver, weren't designed to beat Dallas. And Boston again continued to ran through people. We don't, Boston's a team that they're great. We don't know how great they are yet. Let's see them play. If Kyrie and Luka are there, they haven't had to play superstars in certain games. Gonna be interesting. But what are some of your first thoughts Monday night heading into the series?
Kristaps Porzingis, he was really low down last I looked at the odds for Finals MVP, but I think I would dub him as the most important player in the series for the Celtics. They're a completely different team when he's on the floor, and he stresses defenses in ways that no other player definitely in this series can. And what do I really mean by that? The Mavericks have made a statement over the last month of the regular season and into the playoffs as a really solid defensive team. And they've done that against
Definitely.
some teams with some more prototypical bigs, some dunkers, some post guys. And Kristaps Porzingis, when he's on the floor, the Celtics regularly have five, like they can play like five out, all the guys outside the 3-point line, and there's no one who you can like accept taking 3-pointers. Al Horford is still a very adequate 3-point shooter,
Definitely.
but he's not Kristaps Porzingis. So Derek Lively, Derek Jones Jr., Daniel Gafford, a lot of former Bulls there, by the way, but
Former Wizards too.
yeah, also saw that one. But they're comfortable in the paint, they're comfortable defending the rim, and they're comfortable like playing in there. For Kristaps to really drag them out, how are you then able to how are you able to get Lively and those guys to help on a Jason Tatum drive, a Jaylen Brown drive? So I think if the Mavericks have made their claim as a defensive team, if they can continue to do that in new and creative ways, I do think Jason Kidd, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, he's one of the coaches that do matter. He knows the game well as Joe Mazzulla. He's been great as well. So will be some really interesting coaching matchups there as far as how to guard Boston. But I still think the best player in the series is Luka Doncic.
I think so as well. I think it's arguable. I think the thing with the Mavs versus Celtics, in my opinion, is it looks like, we've seen the memes that basically when Jason Tatum has a bad game, it's okay. The Boston Celtics still usually win.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think if Luka does not have a good game, Kyrie could play decently well, but without Luka, they're in big trouble. I would definitely say he's
For
the
sure.
most important. I think you could argue Tatum versus Luka as the best player in this series. I will say one compliment to Luka. I would say the last series, I would say maybe a little before that, but the series especially against Minnesota, where everybody was so in love with Minnesota, was I felt like in big moments, Luka's defense, which has been a lackluster performance and not a real highlight of his game, I felt like the last few seasons, really kind of stepped up. He had some big steals in the paint and late in game 4 or 5. He had some moments guarding the perimeter where he stood up. That's important. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have a good package where they can cross you up, they can move to the hoop. You have to be able to at least stick with them. You don't have to lock them down like Kawhi every possession, but good
Right.
enough to that they're not getting 25, 30 consistently on your head and your liability being out there. Looking at how in the Denver or in the Dallas series, Gobert became a liability. Gobert became a liability in the perimeter. So
Insane.
when
Yeah.
that happens, the fact that you could say the defensive player of the year was a liability on defense is a mistake. So you can't be stuck in that situation, which I don't think they will be. I think it's going to be a little different, but definitely two teams that you have two good duos. You have Kyrie and Luka. I heard someone say it, and it was like, obviously Luka might be Batman and Kyrie's Robin, but Kyrie is Batman on a lot of rosters in the NBA. He
For
is a
sure.
stud.
I've been extremely impressed by his play in the playoffs as well. He's not always they've been rattling off points these last couple of games. I think they both scored like 35 in the
Yeah,
last game or maybe even two. But Kyrie's ability, he had one game where he could not buy a shot. He was shooting horribly, ended up with 11 assists and a couple of steals.
right.
So I think his maturity has been showing a lot. He's also been someone who I think his effort on defense has been more than usual, pretty impressive throughout this playoff run. So yeah, I think
I mean,
quick thing on Kyrie. He's anywhere between the second and probably fifth best player
yeah.
in the series on any given night. So that'll be important too.
And I think one thing to notice was, especially with how they were kind of rolling in that Minnesota series, was that first quarter, Luka went off. He had 20 points in that first quarter and just
Hmm.
dismantled Minnesota. He struggled in the second quarter. He had 2 points, but while he struggled, Kyrie had 13.
Yeah,
So very tough to defend a team like that. I understand Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum could probably do the same thing. They have Derek White. I would say their role players may be a little better. I think Drew Holiday's defense is going to be very important as well in the series. I think that KP will be an important player. Lively, obviously a young kid, but how can he handle it? Him and Gafford have been working well. You have to kind of worry a little. Any small thing, I think Lively is in big trouble with to the head falling. He took another nasty fall in that last game, and it was just close again. You don't want to be in Boston, the physical team. They'll get down in there in the paint with you. So being prepared for that is important. And along with that, like you said, preventing that 3-point shot. A lot of guys. You got Sam Hauser, who's probably the seventh, eighth guy on that bench who just shoots the lights out of the building. You got Derek White who can get hot. You got Drew Holiday who makes it. He won a game. I think it was game 2 or 3 against Pace, Indiana. He won a game that series. It was
Yeah.
the Drew Holiday
Hmm.
game. And then you have KP who stretches the floor well. He does his thing. It's going to be very interesting. And I think it's going to be, again, another series, like I said, kind of looking at that Dallas, Minnesota, great ball. We're going to get a great ball series.
Yeah, I hope so. And the role players on the Maverick side are also going to be important as well. We talked about in the last couple of series, like Jaden McDaniels, his numbers going down in
Right?
series they struggled in. Same thing with Michael Porter Jr. being a Lakers killer. If PJ Washington can continue to hit the three at the clip he's been hitting, that'll be
Absolutely.
great. Tim Hardaway has had some great stretches as well. Um, you can really look at this series a number of different ways. You can look at it defense, you can look at it stars against stars and against role players. So at first pass, you might be like, oh, like Dallas, Boston, like this is kind of a weird
Well,
matchup.
I
But
will
I
say
really
that like Dallas Boston, like yeah, maybe a weird matchup, but like if you really think about it, probably in the last 20 years, it's not that weird. Like Dirk's been back a handful of times. He's got he's had a couple appearances. Boston's
yeah.
obviously been there a ton. So it's not like I feel like if it was Minnesota, Indiana, we'd be like, wow, this is a super weird final.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Or even Minnesota, Boston would have been weird. But like these are still two big franchises that like have the moment. I will say one thing. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but even if I did, I think it's still a cool thing. Obviously, Kyrie, his story with Boston, the way it ended, everything there, and how it ended there. But the picture of him when he's like stepping on Lucky the Leprechaun, in the background, it shows ABC.
Yeah.
Next game up, it shows the Mavericks logo, which I thought was like kind of a weird niche, but like pretty interesting, kind of a weird foreshadowing. But I don't know. I think, I have seen a lot of people say like you love seeing the progression of Kyrie and the way he's acted now. There's definitely like, and people are like, why are we treating Kyrie like Kyrie has had his moments where he's said a lot of bad things or he's said things that may have
Yeah.
rubbed people the wrong way, or the way the Brooklyn situation handled with the fines and the vaccine and everything there. So he's had his moments of kind of being him. But I will say, like you said, the maturity level there has really grown. I think he has
He's even said it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think
He's
he's
even said it like my time in Boston was not a highlight for me.
right.
Uh, It's Kyrie. He's I think objectively one of the most exciting players to ever touch a basketball. I regularly throw his highlights on, and I
It's
I root
incredible
for the
how
guy.
well he was doing. I saw one game, like you said, there was a game where he was struggling, and he has the go-ahead basket in the fourth with his left hand. He switches
Oh
hands. It was like, and it's just kind of like, I know you're not gonna like this, but like everyone loves that MJ highlight where he like goes up for the layup and like switches in. But like he's done that like regularly in his career.
oh yeah,
Like it's not that
one of the most skilled players of all
yeah,
time for
just an
sure.
incredible bag, like always know and like when you like to have the mentality or the like playing like I don't know, like not like grit, but like the confidence to like struggle from three, you can't hit a mid range, and you go up with your left hand to win the game, like he did, and he did that in Denver in the regular season as well.
Yep,
Another finisher on them to at the buzzer.
that was one of the craziest shots I've
So
ever seen.
like he's got unreal confidence. It's going to be very fascinating to see because Boston fans aren't the nicest in the world, and they're going to bring it to Kyrie. I saw
For sure.
Portnoy on the Unnamed Show already has a shirt. It's like Boston remembers. It's Lucky holding the Kyrie head. Everyone
Hmm.
wearing Kyrie sucks, Luca sucks shirt. I mean, it's gonna be a good series, and Luca's gonna shit talk. I think that crowd the entire series. I think that's gonna be very fascinating to see. But like you said,
That
head on the shoulders. Got to keep your head.
gonna be a big series for poise, especially. I think on both sides. Like we've seen Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown falter in big moments, and Luca Luca and Kyrie both are kind of head cases in their own rights at
Right.
times, and specifically Luca against the refs, I think will be interesting to watch. Like you said, that Boston crowd is insane. They can sway games for sure. If Luca complains about calls, even when officiating is pretty good,
Right.
if he feels the whistle start to go against him in any way, that crowd just gets under his skin. Like I forgot what series it was, if it was the first round or the second round, but his body language directly correlated to how well he plays. If he comes out pissed off, like ready to argue with the refs, like he's going to be focused on arguing with the refs and not playing good basketball.
Correct.
If he comes out with a smile on his face, wants to have fun, like hopefully he does get into the shit talk. Like I think he's
Well, he
potentially at
was
his
real
best
into that
when he's
last
doing
game
that too.
6. When he was like
Oh
when
yeah,
the guy was waving like the handkerchief at him, and he was like crying back, and then Snoop's reaction was. Did you see Snoop's reaction? Like he's sitting courtside, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like he's
huh.
getting in. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be very fascinating to see that.
I hope we can focus on the basketball. I don't want officiating to become a story with Luka that kind of sometimes has to be like that. And the Boston crowd, like we said, like they can get under Kyrie's skin too. So big for the crowd. Hopefully Dallas can provide a home court advantage when the series gets back there too. But I'm very excited. It's the pinnacle. It's the big one here. Always sad to see the season end, but hopefully we get another good series
Right.
to go 6 or 7
Definitely sad to
games.
see this season go. I will say, I think that I heard it recently. I don't want to be like officially quoted on it. So if you look it up and you're like, oh, maybe he's completely wrong, could happen. But I'm pretty sure I read that Kyrie has not beaten the Celtics
That's correct.
In Boston or overall since he stepped on the Leprechaun.
I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah, I
overall, but
thought
yeah,
so
I've
too.
seen that one too. Yeah.
So I will say I saw that, which this would definitely be like a this would be an awesome. Like obviously, Laker fan, Celtics win, they break the tie. They're at 18. Don't want that.
Mhm.
But this would be a truly great way for Boston to lose it. Losing it to Kyrie, they traded him. They traded him right to Brooklyn.
I think so. I don't remember. It was such a mess in Boston for him too. I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly how
So
it went down.
that was a mess. And like then you look at like these teams and like kind of built a little differently. Like there's like some drafts, some signing, and then you have like a couple. They traded down, right? For Tatum, the Tatum draft. Boston was one. They traded back with Philly. That's what
Yeah.
happened. So, two kind of like not mistake drafts, I would say, but they were three in both those drafts and got Jalen and Tatum, and then it was Fultz, Lonzo, them, and then the other one had I think Ben Simmons was that draft. So
Yep.
you have those moments where those teams was built like that. Horford came in late, trading for Holiday, that kind of stuff. Rosters built a little differently. I definitely think the Lively story is very fascinating. 20 years old, dominating, didn't miss a shot in the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
Pretty incredible. So he'll be great. Gafford was good. PJ Washington again. I agree what you said. Big point. Grant Williams Bowl.
Yeah.
Grant Williams Bowl.
That was funny.
I will say the Tyler Hero comment. Did you see that on PJ Washington's Instagram Live? Who's like made it all the
No.
way out of Charlotte, now going to the finals. Like this poor Charlotte, always catching strays. But yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's the ticket prices were absurd. I don't know if you saw those, but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
insane. So we'll see. I think Boston's 2-1 favorites. I think last time I saw, and it'll be very fascinating. But
Last I saw, Luca was plus money for the Finals
yeah,
MVP
I think
too,
Tatum is the
and
favorite.
I think that yeah, I think it's a solid sprinkle if you're getting plus money on Luca to be Finals
Yeah, I
MVP.
mean, unless
But we'll
Kyrie
see.
goes off. But here's the thing: like they are a different team than and the Kyrie with Tatum, they played together, and Luka played with KP. Different time, and especially when the Warriors won, was that 2 years ago? The Warriors won.
Yeah.
Different team, that Boston team. I think they're a little older, and we'll see. I know Jaylen Brown guaranteed 5 rings when he was talking to Taylor Rooks. It seems like everybody lies to her when she does the interviews because they just want to impress her. But still no ring, still can't go with his left hand. This will be the series to show it. I think
Yeah.
yes, the Celtics are good, and they might be built to go for a couple of years now with this team. But I don't know. You get Tatum. Tatum has 2 finals losses. Is a lot of slander without getting one. So it'll be
For
very interesting
sure.
to see.
Imagine a Luca like 50-point triple double in game one.
Oh my god!
Because he's been getting playoff slander too the last
And
couple
but
years, and
he's really
he's
shut up. I will say one of my last stats for the Mavs: last team to beat 3 straight 50+ win teams. So the Mavs to beat 3 straight 50+ teams: Clippers,
uh
Thunder, Clippers, Thunder,
Wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah.
Lakers, 09-010,
Okay.
beat the Celtics as well.
Let's do it.
So,
Let's line it up.
shout out Luca. You have a chance to do that. But what's your prediction for the series heading into Wednesday?
That's tough. That's tough. I think hopefully a lot of good back and forth. I think against my better judgment, I have to say Celtics in 6.
Okay.
I think their depth is just higher. Their home court advantage is higher.
Yeah.
I think they're built for this. Everyone expected them to be here. They've been odds-on favorites to win it all for a long time now.
We've been saying it for a
And
while.
sadly, yeah. So I think I got to say Celtics in 6. What do you think?
Going Mavs in 7.
Let's do
Mavs
it.
in
Pick
7
you.
would never pick the Celtics, even if Even if the other team was a miracle team to get out of the West, I would never do that. So, but I do think Mavs in 7. I think they are a very solid team. They battle well. It's going to be very fascinating. I'm excited. Good ball. I'm surprised. Is media day tomorrow? Like I feel like we haven't seen much media around this.
Poor scheduling, just NHL too, which I know we're about to get into, but poor scheduling overall. Like
Yeah.
you're missing a whole week on both of
Well,
them.
yeah.
So
So it's
I
Wednesday
hope for something
tomorrow, or
soon.
Wednesday, not tomorrow, but it's Wednesday game
Is it
one.
Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday's first game NBA,
Okay.
and then Saturday is the next first game of the Stanley Cup,
Yeah.
and that's almost a full week since
Yeah.
game 6 of the Edmonton Dallas game. So
They're forcing me to watch crappy Chicago
right,
baseball
yeah,
now for
nothing on TV. Everyone's catching up on shows. The Bears not out yet, so that the boys come out this, but we don't need it yet. That'll be good
right.
then. Yeah, Stanley Cup starts Saturday. Edmonton versus Florida, gonna be a good series. Connor McDavid getting a chance on the big stage. First time a Canadian team has a chance to. There have been back in many years, but last time they won a title and a Canadian team was 1993. So gonna be interesting to see if they can do it this year. Another fun fact: second longest distance for a Stanley Cup Finals between Florida
Okay.
and Edmonton. And it's going to be a good series. I know we are not going to really dive that into it. We're not the biggest hockey fans, but definitely something to watch. I think Connor McDavid has a chance to really start cementing that legacy. A lot of people talk about him. A lot of people call him the guy who can do it. Never thought he could win the big one in the playoffs. He's gotten to that point. He has the chance now. Florida,
Going against some championship experience in Florida.
absolutely.
And Florida, funny enough that you say 1993 was the last time a Canada team has won. And I know like Toronto has been good the last couple of years, hasn't been able to do it. Like
Right, yeah.
obviously
Cowboys.
not a lot of Canada teams, but Florida's been kind of running the show in the NHL the last few years, eh? A couple of years for the Panthers, I think at least back to back, if not the three-peat for the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple of years before. So
Yeah,
Canada is losing their sport to the fucking Sunshine State,
right.
not the
So,
Sunshine State, but
we'll see. I know Corey Perry was on a team. He's on the Oilers, ex-Duck. He won a title in 2007, but he did, I think, lose 3 straight finals as well in the Stanley Cup Finals. So he's kind of on those, like, he's on the, what was his name? He was on with Patrick McCaw. What was his name for he played on the Warriors for a couple years.
oh yeah,
It was like
yeah,
his
yeah.
first
I
three,
think it was
four,
Pat McCaw. Yeah,
like first 3-4 years he won a title. He's like the reverse the last couple years. He did win one with
yeah.
Dallas, but or he did win one with Anaheim. I'm sorry, in 2007. But since then he's been like the opposite Patrick McCaw and basically lost every year. Because I mean, we had Florida and Tampa Bay have made it the last 2 years, but have lost. The Tampa Bay won the year before. They won the year before that, so they went 2 in a row. So I mean, it is for a random. It's not a hockey state, obviously,
Yeah.
but gonna be a good series. Edmonton in, Florida in. Definitely gonna be exciting there. Playoff hockey's great. The good thing is maybe we'll get both series to go 7
That'd
because
be big.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see the final schedule. We got game 7 would be Monday, June 24th for hockey. And game 7 for NBA would be Sunday, June 23rd. So
Oh, that'd be
if we can
sick.
get double game 7s, we'll get Sunday, Monday, game 7s. So one can dream. But that's pretty much it for sports for those two for the finals. When we're looking at final series, that's pretty much it for the finals and the Stanley Cup, wrapping up championship series. But along with that, baseball picking up. We obviously have that. There's been some injuries, but the hot stories of the week haven't been in basketball. You have them. You have it a little. Haven't been really hockey. That's been obviously in the finals as well. Baseball, kind of in the media. The topic of the week, the WNBA. And it's been everywhere. And I know people are talking about it on ESPN and people are talking about it on Twitter and friends. Joey and I have been preaching it since March. Preaching it. We were here at the tournament. We were ahead of it. A time before everyone else hopped on. A lot of stories were going on this week. Anybody who doesn't know, story of the week, Caitlin Clark, the queen of the WNBA, gets hip checked by Kennedy Carter. No foul called, just a regular foul, just a common foul called. Caused a ton of uprising, envy, jealousy, everything going on in the NBA. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the last week of the WNBA?
I can't figure out who to point the finger at for who is the most tone deaf. It's the other players in the WNBA. It's the media. It's everybody. So Kennedy Carter, it was against the Chicago Sky. I have Angel Reese on my fantasy team, and her stock is tanking in my mind. We'll get into the fantasy in a little bit. I'm 0-2 at the moment, maybe 0-3
Hang
now.
on, three, yeah.
I it's very exciting that the WNBA has been getting this much love. And obviously, with any star player, like you're getting the other team's best every night. They're throwing everything they can at you. Not that Caitlin Clark is the best player in the whole
No,
league, but she's someone who could go off for a ton of points on any given night. So you are throwing her a bunch of different looks. She has got this target on her back for kind of God knows why. But I think the toughness, like there's a difference between throwing your best defensive looks at a player and like going at them to like injure them. Like one of my buddies, I saw this on Twitter. Shout out Robert. If Caitlin Clark gets seriously injured from one of these like cheap shots, not that like they're actually throwing haymakers or anything, but shit happens. Like if she rolls an ankle, is out for a month, like I'd be real curious to see where those ratings end up.
yeah.
So I don't know if it's the refs. I don't know if it's the league. Like there needs to be a line drawn that I think it's unfair treatment. Like I respect physical play.
Yeah,
It's
well, I
cool, but
think
I think it's bullshit at this point.
I'm like you said. I actually I have no problem with a hard foul. Or, it's basketball. It happens in men's. It can happen in women's. I have no problem with that. Play the game hard. Draymond has had his issues. For example, that's a men's player who's been an enforcer kind of thing. You have guys in the '90s playing a little harder in the NBA. And if you look at WNBA history, Candace Parker, when she was a rookie, got kind of not hazed a little, but was played harder. Anybody who's a rookie
Yeah.
in any sport is going to get harder treatment. They want to show.
Number one pick for sure.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
show. But it's one thing to play hard treatment, and then there's another thing to be like hard treatment and just be stupid about it. Like
Yeah.
this foul on Caitlin on this past weekend, the Sky lost by one, and Caitlin got 2 free throws from that. They lost. They lost because of that
Yep.
play. Now I get it. It's very tough to say it was one play. I understand. But those free throws, without that stupid foul, she's not getting those points. So I don't understand that. And I don't even think it is Caitlin. I think there's a lot of jealousy and envy for the entire rookie class. I don't think it's just Caitlin. I think Caitlin's great, but Caitlin hasn't been amazing. She hasn't been.
No,
She isn't Caitlin
yeah.
from Iowa right now, which is okay. She's averaging, I think, 13, 14 points a game. But she's averaging 5 turnovers a game. She's on pace to break the record for most turnovers in a WNBA season. I think the record's like 191. She's on pace for 242. So,
Okay.
she's on pace for a very bad turnover season. But you have Cameron Brink, who's blocking, playing great defense. But, she's a star. Nika Moole finally getting a chance after her visa got approved. That happened.
Yep.
Then you got Angel Reese, which I believe Angel Reese hasn't been great. I think she's shooting around 35%. Her performance hasn't been good, but she's grabbing boards. She's getting blocks. She's doing her role. So I don't understand whether it's the envy, the jealousy, because it's not like I will say we've kind of shifted into a chance of like you hear people talk about like it kind of similar to Caleb a little. I feel like
Okay.
Jalen Johnson, he said it earlier. He was like, we ain't in Hollywood anymore. It's just the pros. We're gonna play. So you see it in every sport. I know part of my take had their example of LeBron's rookie year, Carlos Boozer, and those guys saying we don't need LeBron. We're playing fine without him. The same thing. There's jealousy and envy, and they want to be that best player. But that's just not it. And so it's one thing to have that, but it's also another to be like, just dumb. Like, and I see other teams and like there's 12 teams or 14 teams.
Yeah.
I think it's 12.
Something like that. I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
think it's 12 teams. 12 teams in the league. And you see like the Las Vegas Aces, who are the defending 2-time champs. And I see videos from them. They're vibing. They have their moments. And they kind of just do their thing. Kate Martin from Iowa's there, having a great time, playing well, dog. Kate Money or Money Kate, whatever that. Money Martin is what Kelsey Plum called her. So you have that. And like everyone seems to have an opinion on it. And like and now it's everywhere. And obviously today's Monday. Pat McAfee today was already getting slandered. He said, because it's that white bitch. And I think he was trying to quote Kennedy Carter because she said, yeah, you like that bitch, or you a bitch when before she hit her. So I think
did you see the McAfee clip? He was gassing her up. Like he was only gassing her up. He was saying he was basically roasting Kennedy Carter and was like, oh, like it's not all about one player. Like,
Yeah.
let's look at like ratings for
Oh
these games.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
wasn't like,
Blind
oh, it's
ratings.
this bitch. It's not like, oh, like this bitch. Like she is that.
The
Like
Indiana
she's her.
Fever.
She's that
The
bitch.
Indiana
That
Fever
was the context of the quote.
have played. I think it was this weekend I saw it. So at like the 5 or 6 home games at this point. Also,
Yeah,
along with a side note of the WNBA, I'm very confused on the scheduling. There's only Caitlin Clark play. She's played like 10 games.
that's right.
I feel like other teams have played like 4 games. So I'm very confused. That's a side note. But I saw that the Indiana Fever in 5 home games have already broken their total attendance from last year in 20 games. There's 40 games in a season, 20 games at home. They've broken their attendance total. That and just to back up for a second, I will say Indiana's played 11 games. Everyone's kind of catching up now, but like Las Vegas, the 2-time defending champs, 6 games.
Uh-huh. Oh
Atlanta
man,
7. Dallas 7. Chicago 7. Why is no one else playing? What is happening?
I did not
They're
realize
gonna
that. But that's a perfect way to put the point. Like we said, like play the game hard. Welcome to the
yeah.
WNBA #1 overall pick, Caitlin Clark. But it's the all like the stuff outside of basketball. That foul, not even close to a basketball play. All this narrative about the fucking race narrative. I hate it. Let her play the game. Like Kennedy Carter tweeted, which I want to go at her one more time. She's like, talking about enforcers, let's just hoop. You were not just hooping.
You
And
weren't
also,
hooping and you turned off the comments. You turned off the
and you turn
comments.
off the comments. Not standing on business at all. But I think the last point I really want to make, because we're really everyone is beating this into the butt, like into the ground. I really just want to see them play basketball. Um, LeBron and I think it was Draymond or Charles Barkley, maybe all three, they were right. Her teammates need to back her up a
Oh
little
yeah.
more. Like she has taken some shit, like we said, that is outside of the normal game of basketball. Like you need to have some pride in your team, some pride in your teammates, and be able to like show this rookie that like we are a team. Because I mean, I talked about Anthony Edwards wanting out of Minnesota. Like they were a tight group there.
At the
It
end, he
doesn't seem
said
like that's the
he
case
said
for
he
The
wasn't
Indiana
going to
Fever.
do the NBA on TNT interviews because they were bashing on Gobert and Katz. He said, "I'm not
Mhm.
doing it either." All the teams that were not doing it, and I
That's a team.
I understand that Indiana is a young team. They have CC, they have Aaliyah Boston, they have younger players. They're a rebuilding team. I get that,
Yeah.
but that being said, I don't understand. I mean, like Aaliyah Boston isn't some like second-year player that was just like average in college. She was incredible at South Carolina.
Yep.
So you have
hmm
2 stars in the last 2 years, and then like you got to have a leader somewhere. And I saw Aaliyah; she's doing a better job. But I did see she rolled her ankle last night. She'll be who knows how long she'll be out. Hopefully not long because of my fantasy team. But basically, like you need someone to get up there and at least step up for her. And I thought it was just like
You need a Pat Bev on the
need a
team.
Pat Bev,
Someone like
need
that.
a Pat Bev,
Mhm.
need a Draymond Green, and it's just like I don't understand. And like, I'm also confused on what Angel Reese's role is. Is she the villain? Does she want to be the villain or does she not want to be the villain? She's like bounced back and forth through college and now the pros. And I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like today, she
I don't get it either. She was gonna be my tone deaf person of the week. I'm sorry to cut you off, but the quote was like, "I want everyone to know that like this isn't just about one person; it's about me
yeah.
too." And like the hard foul this weekend was with the Sky and Angel Reese, and she was like standing up as soon as doing all that shit. I Angel Reese is on my fantasy team. Shout out the Sky, even though this was a tough weekend. Um, pick a lane and stick there. Draymond Green is the villain. He is always the villain.
Yeah.
Like maybe he has some quotes here and now that it's like, come on, dude. Like, but Angel Reese national championship year. Like, yeah, we love being the villain, flex on everybody. Then they lose to Iowa her last year, and she breaks like emotional to end your college career, yeah, but breaks down in tears. You guys, you don't know what I've been through and what I've been
Right.
treated after demanding the spotlight for a couple of years, LSU super team, all that stuff. Now she gets in the league, and I think, like we talked about, her offensive numbers aren't great. She's a bagless player. She's never been an offensive player. She plays defense, gets rebounds, but now suddenly, I still think she's getting her flowers. She's become quite a celebrity, like from the
Yeah.
WNBA, as the rest of this rookie class has. Headlined by Angel, Caitlin Clark, Cam Brink for sure. But I think Angel Reese has been getting her flowers, and to then turn around and be like, I want people to care about me too. Like people have, and
I mean,
so
ESPN had a full like couple picture display of like it was like it was a sick collage. It was like Caitlyn versus Angel for the first time, and it was like NCAA stuff. It was like the ring picture. The collage was really good, and I was like, this is a
yeah,
great like a very cool thing, and like everyone's like And people are talking to them WNBA. I get it that like people, the fans that they had, I guess, and I saw on Get Up this morning, or what's the one, First Take, she was yelling at Stephen A. like, why weren't you here before? And it's like, I get that, and you're right. Maybe we were missing out on some great basketball. You had the Candace Parkers, you had the Lisa Leslies, you had the Cheryl Millers, you had legends. You're probably right. But
Yeah.
now we're watching. So why are you mad that we're catching up now? Would you like us to stop? Now there's somebody, now there's a sport, there's a product that we can watch. And I think
Mhm.
why are other like we made the joke that we're playing fantasy baseball or basketball. It's not a joke. We are playing women WNBA fantasy basketball. It's us. We're in a league.
Dynasty League.
It's a dynasty league.
Mhm.
We had a first year. We started it this year. We're gonna do it now. We like sports. We're gonna talk about it. But it seems like you said, it's the race baiting, it's the gender baiting, it's the do women hate other women thing. Do men hate women? Why are men even talking about this? It's not their sport. Well, do you want us to talk about it and watch, or do you not want us to talk about it at all? Because it's not our sport.
Right.
So no one has found their lane in this entire couple months. And guess what? This quote isn't all publicity. The quote is all publicity is good publicity, bad or good.
Right.
This is what the
Yep.
WNBA has wanted. This is what they want. You want someone, there's finally players in this league that are worth talking about. You had years of dominant UConn players that just would go to the league, play their time, move on. That's what happened. Now you got stars. You got girls. You got teams that are good. You got Paige coming up next year. You got Celeste coming out next year. You got other players that have talent. NIL has really changed the game for those athletes. It's been incredible to see. Let it grow. Let them go. And it's okay to have rivalries. There was Magic and Larry Bird. Guess what? There was never maybe at the time people thought it was a white versus black thing, but it wasn't. It was for maybe a little, but it was great basketball. It was LA versus Boston. It was rivals. It was a storied rivalry. Then you had MJ versus the Pistons. Then you had other people. Rivalries are good. Why are we saying it's negative that Angel and Caitlin are rivals? If they are or aren't, who cares? Let a rivalry happen. And then you see other players like that, and it's like, what is going on? Everyone's trying to tear each other down. No one wants to. And then you have like the teams like the Aces who have just like a bunch of fun. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna keep playing ball.
Yeah, probably gonna may go three-peat because they're focused on basketball, unlike everybody else.
So it's like incredible to see. And then I just saw right before we recorded that the Liberty are starting a $4.99 plan per month to stream all local Liberty games for fans to watch. So like another way to get it. And like new revenue streams are starting to come in. There's a team there's a new team coming. Is it Toronto or?
Oh, I saw this. I don't remember.
There is a new team coming. That's soon. So like that's a big deal. But like that's a big deal. Golden State. That's what it was. Golden State is joining the team. And so like you see stuff like that, and it's like it's like, why are we trying to hurt a league that's been hurting for so long? And why are we trying to tear other people down? And like, I don't get that. It's like if you want to debate about Dak Prescott and CJ Stroud and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen every day for 3 straight weeks during the summer when just OTAs are going on, then we should be able to debate about the WNBA like it's the same thing.
Yeah. Without getting clipped for all the other stuff that we talked. Yeah.
So agree. WNBA in the limelight, very excited. I think people are into it. Shout out Caitlin Clark, number 4 selling jersey in the WNBA and NBA combined. Number 4 overall. Angel Reese, she's doing her part in Chicago. Camila Cordoza doing her part in the rookie class. Would love to see a little more JC Sheldon action. Feel like we're not talking about her enough. Give her a chance, Dallas. I promise.
Would be a big impact player. JC, come on the pod.
I promise you, Dallas,
please,
she's good. So, I mean, we'll see. The WNBA, it's on its way, and insanity that it's infiltrated every storyline.
Oh yeah. The Chicago Tribune article was also extremely tone deaf today.
Oh my God, that was insane today.
A common foul that outside of a basketball court would have been considered assault. At one point, it had 100 likes on it and over 1,000 quote tweets. So everyone like, what are we doing? Really, what are we doing?
So funny. I mean, I saw that article. I actually saw because Matt Brown like quoted the article and was like, "What in the world is this?" And I was like, "What the hell?" Like, people are losing their damn minds. And I like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but you know what? Shout out to these girls. Caitlin's fucking trooping along. I hope they do well. I hope they keep getting hot and they can get better because people are watching. People are talking.
I might be getting some CC1s when they come out. Caitlin Clark
Ooh.
got a shoe deal. Come on. Those are going to be sick. I think they are.
Those are gonna be those will be. I could definitely see that being like one of those like crazy shoe deals where like everybody buys them. But like Wilson, Aja, I don't even know how you say her name. But like Aja Wilson, I don't know if it's Aja.
AJ?
AJ
I think it's
Wilson.
AJ.
I don't know how to say it the right way. AJ Wilson. She's like a Finals MVP, an incredible player. She just got her shoe. That's gonna do very well. She's a captain on that team. That team is very good. Like the game is growing, whether people want it or not. With like that team has Kate Martin, who's like a other rookie. Like she was great at Iowa. Don't get me wrong. She was
Great story, too.
great
Great
story. Made
story,
the
yeah.
roster, everything. But like that team has no big name, and they just like they're getting the deals. So they all had the. It's not like they were like nobodies before. And they have Becky Hammon, of course, who was like coach with the Spurs, very successful. So she's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
coach too, and great ex player. So we'll see. WNBA. Hopefully we keep going. Right side though. Joey lost to me in fantasy since we've been talking about it.
I'm trying not to be a free win anymore with vacation and everything. I've been pretty bad about the lineup changing. Fantasy football is easier. It's once a week. There are too many games to keep track of. It's on me. Hand up. It starts at the top. I am the top. We're gonna be a second half team. Starting off 0-3, not great. Gonna try and make some moves at the deadline. Maybe selling my soul for some crazy ass trades in this league. We'll see. But we have to bounce back. No other choice.
He didn't start Angel Reese one day, had 20 points, would have won this. Would have won in the week.
Yeah, tough.
So
yeah.
That's a small right side before we get into our real right side. But that's pretty much for sports right now. Real quick, we're going to kick into our ad read and our sponsor for our clutch moment of the week. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, premier metal supplier since 1970, serving Southern California. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
First of all, my clutch moment is you sending me the Shore Metals shirts. I've been dreaming of one of those shirts since college. They're at my parents' house right now. I'm getting them later this week, so it will be in future episodes. My clutch moment of the week goes out to Caleb Williams and once again the Bears. The other day, Caleb was spotted at Old Crow, one of the staple Wrigley bars, as well as an Ohio State bar. Shout out. Watched the Michigan game there last year, wrong side, but Caleb Williams chanting Green Bay sucks with all of the faithful down at Old Crow. It was awesome. He continues to show that he loves the spotlight. He is the one. He's the one. He's prepared to hold on his back all the pressure of being a quarterback in Chicago. We've never had a quarterback before. He is doing all the right things so far, getting connected with the fans, hanging out with Rome a ton. It's exciting. The Bears got Hard Knocks, which we didn't talk about a lot. I know that is seen as a negative by some. I was not super happy when I heard about it at first, but any extra time to get content from these guys, especially before it all comes crashing and burning in probably week 2, when we realize that they're still rookies and not going to be immediately insane at football. I'm in for the content. Caleb Williams, he is getting the whole city to buy in. I'm very excited about it. So Caleb Williams and the Bears so far are my clutch moment of the week.
Okay, just before, I want to make sure my stat is right. Oh, congratulations. Last team to make the playoffs being on Hard Knocks, 2021 Cowboys. So, been a couple years since a playoff team from Hard Knocks.
That means we get a first round. If we're emulating the Cowboys, we get a first round win, right? But that's it.
You get no first round win.
No first round win?
Yeah, we got no first round.
You guys haven't. You don't. 2021, you didn't get a first round win, or you never get first round wins.
I'm pretty sure 2021 we did not get one.
No, okay, but I want the Cowboys of now that get first round wins.
We didn't get a first round win last year either.
You guys suck.
Oh, yep, lost in the wild card round of the playoffs. Yep. So yeah, congratulations, first round knockout. But
it's gonna be the Packers too.
Yep.
Fuck.
My clutch moment of the week goes out to the Oahu charter boat girl for getting us on that boat. That would have really ruined the last night of our vacation, but clutch moment to her, getting us on the boat. I will say it was almost not clutch. The waves were choppy. I thought it was going to be rough. Meg and I both kind of looked at each other during it. But outside of that first 30 minutes, beautiful sunset, great pictures, beautiful scenery, and we got to go on it. Didn't have to reschedule or lose my money. So that was great.
That's big.
Clutch moment out to her. So gave her a nice $5 tip when we left. So that was nice. Yeah. Her specifically. And then I dropped a little in the pot too, but her specifically. And then just did that. So that was my clutch moment of the week.
PTSD from the choppy waves, but gotta respect
Yeah.
it. One of those nice catamarans with the booze on it.
Oh yeah, first drink free. Next drink was $8, which is like pretty good compared to the prices we were
Yeah.
playing out there about the pool
Yeah.
or like. So we had a couple extra drinks, but that was good. So clutch moment out to her. Shout out the boat girl for the Moana Sunset Cruise, and
Oh yeah.
shout out to Caleb Williams for showing out. But also, before I will say, Caleb Williams proves again, baseball hardest sport to play. Look like a fool swinging the bat.
He's here to win football
Go
games.
Bears.
Bear down.
Okay. He did look like a fool.
That's okay.
And I also
He's
talking about the
He's still pretty to me.
talking about the catamaran story. Forgot about a story. I'll tell you after we finish. It's really good. Remind me,
Okay.
it's about Meg and the Sunset Cruise. Okay, here we go. Start us out. Outside the line. Almost done.
Tone deaf person of the week. Tone deaf crazy plane lady. Okay.
I'm
I'm
gonna
keep that one kind of short.
I'm just gonna do Kennedy Carter, and I'll keep it short too because I think it's on Threads. That's just so tone deaf. Like
Yeah, that's
nobody
ridiculous.
has Threads. Like I didn't even see it. Like okay, and go.
All right, finishing it up with outside the line, starting out with a good old favorite, tone deaf person of the week. Michael, who you got?
I know we talked WNBA a lot, but I do want to make it known. Kennedy Carter posting and doing all that on Threads, so tone deaf. Like
Ridiculous.
I just think like I again like don't want to beat the dead horse. I know we talked about it, but like that needs to be known. She didn't post it on Twitter. The replies weren't open. It wasn't like it was a wide receiver in the NFL who like kept his replies open, subtweeting people, quoting people's tweets, like not defending the take. Turn the comments off on Twitter. Post it on Threads, the original one. Just ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous.
I didn't even realize that. It just we talked about her. She's not standing on business by turning off the comments. The fact you're doing
And
it on
just a
Threads,
no
you
comment
really
after the game.
see
Like,
that.
come on. The whole thing
Ridiculous.
was her whole like social media reaction and way about it was just tone deaf as a whole. So Kennedy Carter,
Awful.
social media push tone deaf. How about you?
Trade block for sure for the Chicago Sky. Get her out.
Yeah. Cancer.
Tone deaf for me. I gotta shout it back to a vacation story.
Okay.
It was our flight to Italy, so like 2.5 weeks ago at this point. There was a lady. She was like 3 rows in front of me. It was one of those big planes where you had like 3 on the end, middle section, 3 on the end. I was left aisle. I was middle section, left aisle seat. She was left section aisle seat, about 3 rows in front of me. She was just agitated the whole flight. Like it's a long flight. Some people aren't good at flying. I usually don't care that much. I got my headphones on listening to a movie. She's standing on her seat going into the overhead baggage.
Why do you
thing,
need to stand on your
20
seat? You can
seconds.
get there like just standing. You know, like
Yeah, stuff like that, walking around constantly. At one point, she started yelling about like somebody isn't even on the plane. I don't even want to go on this trip. Like we're going to Italy. Like who's mad about going to Italy? Like not sure what was going on before. Everybody's fighting their battles, but the cherry on top was she starts yelling at the flight attendants for like probably the whole like last half of the flight. She's like, "Oh, you're just gonna wake me up again in 5 minutes to ask me if I need a water?" And like the person kind of chuckled and was like, "Oh, like sorry, like if you want to sleep, like I won't wake you up." And she's like, "No, it's always the same with you guys, like crappy service. You guys just aren't nice." And I thought there was like it was like a solid crew. Like I don't really like talk to the flight attendants that much, but there was nothing to cause this sort of uproar. At one point, she marches to the back of the plane. We were close to the back, so the flight attendants were hanging out like a couple rows behind where we were. I'm like kind of eyeing her, and she's staring straight down at the flight attendant. She goes, "That's right. Don't even look at me, cowards." And I was like, "What? Like, what could have happened?"
it was going down.
It was going down. She's like, "I can't. This is horrible service. Blah blah blah. I had already needed to get the cops involved to find my luggage and blah blah blah." This one dude, he was an Italian guy, absolutely jacked, ripping out of that flight attendant uniform. But he walks over. He's like, "I am sorry," to the rest of the row around her. She was gone at this point, but it's like, "I am so sorry, guys. Like, I would love to take your information to like get you some accommodations, like after the fact. Like, she's driving us crazy too. Like the most outward beef I've ever seen on a plane before. The flight was fine. The flight attendants were normal. Like, I don't know what had happened to this woman earlier in the day, but it was like almost as aggressive as "That motherfucker is not real" clip from Tiffany Gomez back last year, wherever it was. But I was like, my jaw was on the floor. She I don't know if she called me a coward because I was kind of looking at her, or the flight attendants cowards, but she is like,
You should have said it back. Got in her face.
I thought about it, but then I was like, I know I got a quick trigger. So as soon as
Mm,
shit talk starts, like I just like can't stop. So I was like, cooler heads prevail. Back to my movie. But she was a menace. She was an absolute menace. Like one of the most tone deaf things
wow.
I've ever seen on a plane or in an airport.
Wow. I mean, that's a long fight to have to deal with someone like that.
Yeah, like she wasn't like loud the whole time, but like everything she said, I
Still,
was like serious. Like I was like, how do you say that?
fucking tone deaf travelers. No clue.
People are
Got
scary.
no clue what's
I
going
hate
on.
people.
Hate people.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Um, wrapping up. Wrong side, right side. What do you got?
Wrong side. I touched on this briefly a couple weeks ago. Chicago baseball in general. Um, I live now about a 12-minute walk from Wrigley Field. Been to a couple games already. I think the Cubs are 1-1 in
Appearances.
my time here.
Okay.
Yeah. The first month of the season, the Cubs were kind of outperforming expectations. I had committed to myself to being a baseball fan once I moved here. The Sox had a really shitty first month of the season, then started to come back a little bit. But now I'm going to read a few stats from you from the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Pretty much exactly the time I moved into the city and into
Right. Right.
Wrigleyville. For the Cubs, in the last 3 weeks, they are 29th overall. The Sox are 30th. Runs per game, Cubs 29th, Sox 30th. Batting average, Cubs 30th.
Wow.
OBP, Cubs 29th, Sox 30th.
Wow.
Slugging 30th, OPS 30th. 28th and 29th for the Sox for the rest of those two. So extremely wrong side. That as soon as I really like,
You started the
I want to
downfall,
be a
maybe.
baseball fan. I think I did. Um, they did get a win. Wins are hard to come by. I think they had lost 10 of their last
They
12
are
as of
hard to
a
come
couple
by.
days ago. Wins are hard to come by. So seeing one, I'm gonna hope it wasn't all me to start this downfall, but they have just absolutely plummeted since I've moved into town, and it's very sad.
Yeah, when I was in Hawaii, Jake, he brought a friend and he went with my family to the Angels Yankees series. They went to the first game of the Angels Yankees series and they won. And it was Jake's first win of the season. I'm still winless. I'm 0-9.
Oh man,
So it's been pretty brutal for me at the stadium. My stat is definitely going to miss. I told Bino and Stein, and I guess it's going to be the guards too. So Moops as well. Those teams might hit 50 wins before the Angels hit 30 wins. So that would be pretty embarrassing. The Phillies are at 42. The Yankees are at 42. The guards are at 39. And the Angels are at 21. So
ooh,
definitely going to be a close finish to 50 versus 30. I think they're going to end on it. But yeah, it's fucking brutal. Baseball sucks.
baseball is so wrong
But
side. Baseball is
baseball
so
sucks.
wrong side.
My wrong side, though, um, like we kind of mentioned earlier. Oh, that was weird.
That's weird.
My wrong side, mentioned a little earlier, definitely was Monday after vacation. You definitely feel foggy brain. You definitely feel out of it. My workout today, it was my normal Monday, like chest and back workout. I was dripping like it was like 115 degrees in that gym. It wasn't, I had the fan on, like it wasn't that bad. Slam getting work done. We recording on a Monday, which is a little different than usual. So now we're gonna edit. I got to study. Have an exam next week. So just everything getting back to it is just it's tough. That Monday after it just takes it out of you. Maybe I'm more
Yeah,
tired than I was on vacation.
for sure. I didn't even drink that much on
Neither did
vacation, so the
I.
fact that
Well, I take
everything
that back.
felt
At the
so
wedding,
hard.
I drank a good amount. But like outside of the wedding in Hawaii, I didn't. I think Meg and I had like 4 drinks each, maybe like the whole trip.
Yeah. I also think Europeans don't work. Like the streets are
Oh,
always crowded. Like everyone's like sitting down for 2 hour lunches, like grabbing an espresso wherever. So going from that lifestyle straight back into hell,
I've been
didn't feel
seeing
good.
videos like that. Like it's so tough to go from like great like scenery to like the streets of Chicago again. That's been my like whole feed. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, the back to reality day sucks. Fucking
Yeah.
sucks. But right side, we'll end it with that before I tease next week's interview.
Yeah, you go first because I want to build off my right
Okay.
side. So you go first on this
My
one.
right side is being back in the studio together. It's been a hectic couple weeks, and although we had amazing trips, it's great to be back, wrapping it up here, finally together at the same time. I mean, the last week for the listeners listening, it was just every little thing required so much extra work from, hey, what do you think about this editing this way? And I might not have heard from Joey because he's going to bed and I'm waking up. And then we have videos to edit and we're on different times and making sure the videos are at the right time. So same files definitely help. Being on the same
Yeah.
files help a ton. And I'll say it again, right side, just so everybody knows. I beat Joey in fantasy WNBA this week, so it's a extra good extra good right side this week.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt especially. And yeah, good to be back. It was a 12-hour difference when we were both on our vacation. So normal is good. Back to work reality sucks, but normal routine for other stuff is good. So good to be back. My right side, service spotty in Europe, so didn't get to catch up on as much news as I would have liked to across sports and whatnot. But the NCAA trailer looks absolutely sick. I know we're probably a little late on this news, but from the stadium momentum to the touch passing abilities
Wear
to
and
all the
tear.
different uniforms, wear and tear is big. I watched a 10-minute deep dive. The trailer was sick. It looks great. I'm very excited. We're about 43 days away from release at the time of this recording. One thing that Michael and I have discussed a little bit here is potentially a wrong side dynasty league. I did not play a ton of NCAA back in 2014, so this will be kind of my first experience with it. Not sure everything that goes into being a commissioner of a dynasty league. But I think we're going to roll that one out. We'll put some polls out on Twitter, gauge interest a little bit. I think based on some quick math between just some of our friends, I think we could get 20, maybe even
Gonna have
40
to be
people if we
PS5.
really get out
Gonna have
there.
to be
Has to
PS5
be
because
PS5. No broke boys
no
allowed.
cross platform. Yeah, no broke boys. So PS5, we'll put it out there. We'll put a form out in our link tree this week. Fill that out if you're interested. Get all that set up. Maybe we can get a draft going a couple weeks before. Game's gonna come out. We want to be ahead of it. So, but yeah, Joey and I are
Yes.
excited. Joey and I were talking about it. He texted me this weekend and was like, we should do this. And I said, yeah, I'm in. And he's like, how do we set that up? And I said, don't care, just want to play. Like, didn't matter.
That was the response from all my friends too.
Like, don't care, just want to play. So yeah. But next week, oh, go ahead.
One more question about the game first. So I was looking to pre-order it
I know
today.
I
I
have to do
haven't
it this week
pre-ordered
as
it yet.
well.
The normal version, set like $69.99 normal video game price. I had committed to myself before I knew anything about the game that I was going to get like the most deluxe version possible. I don't think I'm going to get the bundle with
No.
Madden. But I'm not an Ultimate Team guy, and the only benefit I could see to getting the deluxe version is getting it 3 days earlier. So that'd be getting it on like a Monday night
Well,
versus like a Wednesday
do
night or something.
do
I don't know if I want to pay $30 extra to do that. Should I do it?
is it only the $100 and $150 version get it early?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the deluxe version gets it on like the 19th. I think it's at the 18th on the
well, it
PlayStation
comes
Store, so
out
maybe it's
technically
like a
the
late
Friday, that
release.
19th. But if you buy
Uh,
I thought it was the $100 version as well. You get it 3 days early.
yeah, that one
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah, I'm buying the 100 because I think I want the cards that come with it as well. Like, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Ultimate Team's not big, but I think that's $30 is worth it for 3 days early.
I'll probably do it. I'll have to think on it a little bit. I was looking at it. We'll see.
So shout out Matt Brown, worked very hard. Always repping his interview. Check his out from a couple weeks ago. But next week's interview, Joey, I don't know if you want to give us a little tease. Team of yours, I think you want to let the fans know.
Let's do it. Brad Seymour, president of the Bulls G League team, the Windy City Bulls, seen a couple games of theirs. Really excited to have this interview, a kind of a different one. G League, as we talk about the WNBA getting more attention, G League definitely an important vein of basketball that doesn't get a ton of attention. Very interested to talk to him, see kind of what it's like. Dealing with these guys that aren't stars, are not number one draft picks, but guys who still want to make the league nonetheless. I want to talk about that a little bit, kind of how he got started in sports operations, stuff like that. Michael had also double majored in sports industry in college, so maybe an in for us potentially to get jobs doing what we love. Excited to line that one up. That'll drop next week. And maybe dog on Jerry Reinsdorf a little bit too. So I'm excited.
And shout out to our friend, fraternity brother Jack Wenland, for helping set that one up, reaching out, thinking about us. We do appreciate that. And gonna be a good interview for next week. So really looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. Shout out Wenland. Big brotherhood move there. Reached out to us kind of out of the blue, like, hey, got a couple guys that I think would be interesting interviews for you guys. Would you like me to help set that up? So that was huge. So thanks, Wenland.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We're growing. We're getting close to 200 followers on Instagram. Looking forward to hitting that.
Woo.
Please tell your friends. Keep listening. Let us know about the Dynasty. Fill out our form continuously still. Thank you all for listening to Wrong Side. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Joey, tell them what's up.
Stay blessed.